Live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Stacey Lynn in Washington. Another community mourning a tragedy. 8 are dead after a gunman opened fire at an outlet mall in Allen, Texas. This man was there.
Out of nowhere, heard about like 10 pops go off. And I look at the customer next to me. I was like, was that gunshots? And he's like, no, it's probably just construction or something. And then like heard 10, 15 more shots go off. And so I ran to the front of the store and we're like, no, that's shooting. And we see the guy. There's this guy dressed in all black, wearing a vest, has an assault rifle, and he's just shooting at people.
Then police shot the gunman. No word on a motive yet. Big money talks are happening at the White House on Tuesday. CBS's Nicole Killian tells us the president will meet with congressional leaders about how to keep the U.S. paying the bills.
Clearly, all sides are far apart at this point. The White House continues to insist that it wants a clean debt limit increase without any kind of preconditions. And that's something that Speaker McCarthy is not bringing to the table. His conference passed this wide-ranging bill that would raise the debt limit and shred some $4.5 trillion from federal programs, but that simply goes too far for the president.
An increase in migrants trying to cross the U.S.-Mexican borders expected when Title 42 expires Thursday. Laredo, Texas Mayor Victor Trevino says his city doesn't have the resources to deal with the large numbers.
If all the numbers of migrants are transferred here like it's planned, then it'll be devastating. That'll be a situation we've never seen before.
There have been protests for several days now, ever since a homeless man was choked to death on a subway train. WCBS TV's Jennifer Bisram.
More than 100 protesters swarmed the Lexington Avenue 63rd Street subway station in Manhattan, taking over the platform, train, at one point even jumping onto the tracks.
Jordan Neely had been acting erratically on the subway and was threatening people when another rider put him in a chokehold. Teachers remain on strike in Oakland, California. A bargaining session yesterday was unsuccessful. Timothy Douglas is co-chair of the teachers' bargaining team.
Wait for them. We're ready to counter and go throughout the weekend to try to reach a tentative agreement.
It is day 2 of parties in London, celebrating the coronation of King Charles III. The king and queen will host a private reception. Then they'll attend a concert in front of Windsor Castle. About 20,000 people are expected to attend. And tomorrow has been declared a public holiday over there, so people can enjoy the festivities today without having to worry about being too sleepy or having a massive king crowning hangover at work. This is CBS News.
Find your next great hire with Indeed. Their hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in the same place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Awarded 2023 Large Market Radio Station of the Year by the Missouri Broadcasters Association, KMOX.
At 10:03, we have mostly cloudy skies downtown, 79 degrees. I'm Scott Jagow. Good morning. Our top story, St. Louis sees one of its most violent nights in recent history. At least 4 people dead in 2 separate shootings and several others injured after being shot.
The violence started Friday night with a quadruple shooting at the Exotic Club on Cherokee. 2 men died at the scene, 2 others were injured. Last night, just before Cinco de Mayo festivities were about to wrap up on Cherokee, police received several calls for shots fired, and in the 2700 block of Cherokee, a man and woman shot. In North City, before 8:30, 2 people shot, 1 fatally. In the 1500 block of Dress-to-Hand, a shooting at 70 in North Market just before midnight injured a man. 2 women shot and killed at 20th and Agnes. 2 more victims at that same scene conveyed to the hospital. It happened around 2 this morning. After 3:30 this morning, a man told police he was shot somewhere on Washington Avenue, but could not provide any other information. And in the 3200 block of Holiday, a man is in critical condition after being shot just after 4 this morning. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
The discussion continues over what can be done to stop the mass shootings across the country. KMOX political analysts Michael Kelly and John Hancock agreed on Total Information AM this morning. Something needs to be tried. Kelly, a Democrat, pushed for a ban on semi-automatic weapons and the start of a comprehensive gun registry program.
Everybody always tells me that, legal gun owners aren't the problem. Well, if legal gun owners aren't the problem, let's make them register their guns. You register everything else in life.
Republican Hancock did not suggest anything specific, but said lawmakers need to find a way to keep guns out of the hands of unstable, mentally ill people. It is Navy Week in St. Louis. More than 90 events are planned, including some being held today. The Navy band Great Lakes will be putting on a free concert from noon until 12:45 at the outdoor stage of Ballpark Village. And Navy Captain Charlize Hassan will be throwing out a ceremonial first pitch at the Cardinals game versus the Tigers. She's a Gateway STEM school graduate. Weather for this afternoon's game: cloudy skies, maybe an afternoon thunderstorm. Temperatures close to 90 degrees. Overnight, warm with a thunderstorm in spots, a low of 66. Tomorrow, thunderstorms early, maybe some heavy ones in the afternoon. So temperatures tomorrow will be around 85. Then things clear up a bit, and we're looking at low 80s for Tuesday and Wednesday. Right now, it is 79 in St. Peter's, 78 Florissant, 79 downtown at the Arch. I'm Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
This is the Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Now, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
And a pleasant Sunday morning. Joe Pot in for Tom Ackerman here this morning on what feels like a summer Sunday morning. Already close to 80 degrees here in St. Louis. We're coming to you from Busch Stadium here this morning as the Cardinals get ready for their final game of the series with the Detroit Tigers. Lots to do here on the Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning. Of course, we'll visit with the Cards manager, Oliver Marmol. That's coming up in our second segment here. We're also going to hear from the former Cardinal catcher, Mike LaValliere. We caught up yesterday. He's been in town all weekend, and Cards Spanish language broadcaster Polo Asensio will join me as well. That's our first hour. We've got plenty more to do in the second hour here as well from our Stifel Sports Studio here at Busch Stadium. Let's start with yesterday's ball game. First of all, another tough one for the Redbirds yesterday. Adam Wainwright back on the mound for the Redbirds. That's certainly the good news of things. He made his season debut, starting his 18th season as a active member of the Cardinals, and it started out well for Waino. Here he is in the first. Second batter of the game is Riley Green.
The pitch to the young left-handed batter, swung on and missed. Picked out of the dirt by Kisner, throwing to first, a strikeout, 2-3. And there's Wainwright's first strikeout for 2023.
He picked up two more strikeouts in the second. He gave up a hit in the first to Javier Baez, but that was it for the first two innings for Waino, who looked very good, very sharp in command. Cards left a couple runners on in the first. Then they put a couple runners on in the second for Dylan Carlson.
And so you change your game plan a little bit.
Here's a high fly ball, deep right field, way back. It's a gunner. 3-run homer, Dylan Carlson. And the Cardinals are on the board in the second inning.
And from the left side, John.
Big blast for Dylan Carlson there. Third home run of the second home run of the year for Dylan Carlson. 3-run shot, 101 miles off the bat from Dylan Carlson. And the Cards had an early lead yesterday, but it wouldn't hold. The Tigers pick up 3 runs on 4 hits in the fifth inning. Eric Haas with an RBI single, Riley Green with an RBI single as well, and it was a 3-3 game there in the fifth. But this time, the Redbirds had an answer in the bottom of the fifth inning with Nootbaar on base and 2 outs in the inning. It's Nolan Arenado, and boy, he needed this one.
A look to first out of the stretch, the pitch. A swing and a long one. Left field. That's a fair ball. That's a home run in Big Mac land. Nolan Arenado puts the Cardinals back on top with a 2-run homer, his 3rd home run of the year.
Just a blast from Arenado. That one came off the bat at 107 miles per hour. Tigers chased Wainwright in the 6th inning. A couple of hits to start the inning. Nick Maton with a double to start the inning. Spencer Torkelson drove him in with a base hit, and that finished the day for Adam Wainwright, who was relieved by Drew Verhagen. He did a good job to keep Torkelson from scoring in the inning. A couple of ground outs and a strikeout there in the 6th. It was a 1-run game. But in the 7th, the Tigers come back. They get a run against Genesis Cabrera in that 7th inning, an infield base hit from Riley Green. And then he comes in and scores later. In fact, scores on a base hit by Torkelson. They came against Nick Stratton, but the run charged to Cabrera. So it's a 5-5 game. It stayed that way until, late. 9th inning now. Tigers with 2 runners on base. They're threatening to get another run. And the hitter is Jonathan Scope at the plate, and the Cards get some really good defense.
Second and third, one out. Tie game. Ninth inning. The pitch on the way. A swing, and the ball is hit in the air down the right field line. Nootbaar on the run. He makes the catch. Tagging at third, trying to score. Ibanez the throw. He's out at the plate. Out, a double play. 9-2. Nootbaar to Kisner to retire Ibanez.
Just a huge play right there from Lars Nootbaar, as you can imagine, keeping this one even. In the bottom of the ninth inning, the Cards do get a couple of runners on base. With one out, Nootbaar has an infield base hit in between short and third. Paul Goldschmidt is then walked, so it's 2 on base for Contreras. He pops up, Arenado flies out, and that ends the threat there in the bottom of the ninth inning for the Redbirds. We go to extra innings. Jonathan Scope is the runner on second base in the 10th inning with one out. Baddoo is at the plate for the Tigers.
Pitch to Baddoo is swung on, and he hits that one well. Left center field. The ball is going to get over Burleson and bounce into the dugout for a ground rule double. The Tigers lead 6-5.
That was it. The Tigers get the run there in the 10th. In the bottom half of the 10th, Nolan Arenado is your base runner to start the inning for the Redbirds. He is forced out at third base. In fact, not forced out. He is out at third base on a fielder's choice. Burleson hit the ball to the right side. Spencer Torkelson made a nice play for the Tigers, throwing across the diamond and erasing Nolan Arenado. Paul DeYoung pops out, and Tommy Edman grounds out for the final out. The Tigers win it 6-5 yesterday. Jose Cisneros, the win in relief. Giovanni Gallegos, the loss in relief. And the Cards have now lost 7 straight as they try to salvage things here this afternoon against the Tigers. The Tigers have won 5 straight as they try to sweep a series. That would be the 3rd straight sweep for the Redbirds if the Tigers can find a way today. We'll talk things over here with the Cardinals manager. He's coming up in just a couple of minutes here on Sports on a Sunday Morning. Also, we'll talk to John Mozeliak as well. In fact, we're going to push Oliver Marmol back just a little bit here this morning. He's working on some things. He's in a meeting here as we speak. So we'll talk to Oliver Marmol probably coming up closer to 10:30. So we'll take a break here. And what we'll do is we'll switch things up. We'll go to an interview I had with the former Cardinal catcher, Mike LaValliere, who's been in town all weekend long. Of course, you remember Spanky behind the plate for the Redbirds in the 80s. He really only played 1 full season with the Cards, but probably most known for being part of that huge trade that sent him and Andy Van Slyke to Pittsburgh for Tony Pena. And we'll talk to him about that, as well as just dealing with a team that might be struggling somewhat like this Redbird team currently is. The former Cardinal, Mike LaValliere, joins me when we come back. Here it's the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday Morning. I'm Joe Pott, live from Busch Stadium this morning. We're coming back here on your home for Cardinal baseball, KMOX.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to KMOX for all the news, sports, talk, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Tamara Green, aka Strawberry, was a beautiful, young, exotic dancer and mother of 3 who was gunned down months after she was connected to a wild party at the Detroit mayor's mansion. The party's rumor, her murderous fact. Who Killed Strawberry is Odyssey's riveting new true crime podcast. 20 years later, Who Killed Strawberry is still a mystery, although there are lots of theories about why she was killed. Was it connected to the party, to a grudge, or to something else? Listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
There's a notion that powerful corporations hire only the best and brightest lawyers, and it's true. At Underlaw, we've taken on some of the world's largest corporations. We've sat across the table and won. That's why when you're hurt, not just any lawyer will do. Together with our brave clients, we're holding these companies accountable. I'm Jim Onder. At Underlaw, we're making a difference, one case at a time.
Call Onderlaw Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 618-9000000. That's 9 all zeros.
I'm Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life. Over the past decade, Coalition Life has served thousands of women in crisis pregnancies, helping to save the lives of the children that they carry. Help us build a better community while also reducing or completely eliminating your Missouri taxes with a 70% tax credit. A $1,000 donation today to help these women could cost you as little as $141 out of pocket. Learn more at coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com. Thank you.
How much do you love your home? If you're anything like me, then you know that your house is so much more than just a place to keep your stuff. It's where you hang out with your family. It's where you barbecue. It's where you come home from the end of a long day and just relax. If you love your home as much as I do, then you know that there's only one carpet cleaning company to trust with your carpet, tile, and upholstery and air duct cleaning, and that's my cleaning heroes at Zero Res. You know, Zero Res is the zero residue carpet cleaners that do not leave behind any of the dirt-attracting soaps and chemicals that other carpet cleaners use. Their friendly carpet cleaning technicians always walk me through their entire carpet cleaning process and make sure that I'm completely satisfied with my cleaning before they leave my house. It's really an amazing experience. If you haven't tried out Zero Res, or if it's been months since your last deep cleaning, then now is the time to call and take advantage of the spring flash sale and get a free hallway with any of our carpet cleaning packages. With 3 rooms, Zero Resified, starting at just $129. Don't wait for the weather. Book now to beat the rush. Call Zero Res right now at 314-474-2020 or go online at ZeroResSTL.com and say that you want the DGS special.
If you're thinking about selling your St. Louis area home, you might be a bit overwhelmed by the process, especially in this market. Take it from me, Debbie Monterey. I strongly recommend that you call and spend 5 minutes getting to know Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria understands that you have questions and that selling your home can be stressful. Gloria has mastered the home selling process with her Guaranteed Sold program. It simply states Gloria will sell your home at your agreed to price and time frame, or Gloria will buy it. So what's Gloria's secret? Gloria already has the buyers. Fact is, your home may already be sold. Let Gloria show you how she nets her sellers more money and how she sells faster on average. Need more proof? Check out Gloria's 5-star reviews and get moving. Call Gloria Liu today at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Smith swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Joe Pod in for Tom Ackerman here on this Sunday morning. It is a Gray Bar Sports Open Line, or Sports on a Sunday morning, rather, here from Busch Stadium today. We're going to pivot just a little bit. This would normally be the spot where we'd talk to the Cardinals manager, Oliver Marmol, but he is currently in some meetings as he gets ready for this final game with the Tigers today. So we'll check in with him in just a little bit. In the meantime, I had a chance to visit with Mike LaValliere, who's been in town all weekend. He did the Saturday signings at the museum for the Cards yesterday. And so we chatted a little bit yesterday afternoon at Cardinals Nation restaurant. And of course, you know Mike LaValliere for being part of that big trade, which sent him and Andy Van Slyke to Pittsburgh, as well as pitcher Mike Dunn for Tony Pena back in the beginning of the 1987 season. We'll talk to him about that. I start with asking him about returning to St. Louis and what kind of reception he got, how that made him feel visiting with fans at the museum. Joined by the former Cardinals catcher, Mike LaValliere. And first of all, Mike, you come back here to St. Louis years after you were an active Cardinal, and I'm sure that you had a huge reception up there in the museum. What's that like for a former player?
Well, you know what? It's very flattering. And, you know, anything that's associated with the St. Louis Cardinals is nothing but class. This place, you know, the city of St. Louis is such great baseball fans. It's just so nice to be able to interact with them and speak with them one-on-one and sign some autographs.
Come back here and got a chance to visit with some of the broadcasters last night on the show as well. I'm sure that was fun.
Well, Mike Claiborne he's fabulous. And then Ricky Horton. I mean, what else can you say? Ricky is so polished. He's such a fabulous guy. He was a great teammate. And I look forward to seeing him every time I get a chance.
Mike, you had a chance to play on some division-winning teams, some pennant teams, and you played on some not-so-good teams. This Cardinals team right now certainly doesn't have the look of a pennant-winning team. Doesn't mean they can't get there, but how do you approach that day-to-day when struggles are happening like they are this year?
Well, it almost looks like, you've got some guys that are pressing, some guys that have been asked to fill some shoes, losing, the heart and soul of your team in Yadier Molina, has a residual effect. And I think some guys are trying a little bit too hard to kind of make up for that. And as a team, you can see there's nothing that's really easy and flowing. Everything's a battle. Every little mistake is being glorified. And they're getting a couple bad breaks last night. The ground rule double, that's a tie ball game if it stays, in the ballpark, and who knows what happens after that. So, there's some things that, it is a long season. You got to stop this though fairly quick and get on the right side of things.
Now, as a catcher, how do you approach the pitching staff when it's like this? Because I know the pitchers and the starters specifically, they can start pressing and they can start making mistakes because they're pressing.
Well, I think, a big part could be today. You got Waino starting for the Cards. He's a guy that's, you almost expect him to come out, throw a great quality start. Hopefully they can get him some runs and start, something in a positive fashion, where guys can relax, do what they can do. There's plenty of talent on the team. So it's just a matter of, putting it together.
Mike LaValliere with us here visiting at Cardinals Nation Restaurant. And Mike, you're a part of such a high-profile trade from the Cardinals to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Take me back to that, and what was that like when they let you know you were going to Pittsburgh and you were going with a fan favorite in Andy Van Slyke?
Well, frankly, it was devastating. You're leaving a great organization, absolute fabulous baseball town, to go to a place, frankly, that was in their struggles. The city of Pittsburgh was struggling. The team had just gone through, some drug trial stuff, and they were losing 100 games every year, like 3 years in a row. So, when you look at it, you'd be crazy to go, oh, I can't wait to get to Pittsburgh. But it ended up working out. And, it was something that, it's part of the game. It's a business part of it, and you're professional, and you got to overcome, whatever your personal feelings, and just, you need to get it done.
You mentioned it worked out. You end up winning a couple of division titles. You're playing with Barry Bonds. You're playing for Jim Leland, one of the great managers of our game. So it wasn't all bad.
No. In fact, after the initial shock of things, that we had a good group of guys in Pittsburgh, and there's some great parts that were brought together by Sid Thrift and Jim Leland. Getting Doug Drabeck, getting Bobby Bonilla back. There was some incredibly great trades that they made, and we all kind of just gelled, and we're all about the same age, and it was something that we're very accountable to each other, and I think that's what really drove us. That and the fact that Barry Bonds went out to left field every night, which made us a whole lot better.
It is one thing to have that kind of talent, but as you said, it's another thing to have a group of guys that enjoy being with each other, that enjoy playing with one another, playing for one another, isn't it?
Well, and I think winning breeds that.
Yeah.
It's hard to be grumpy when you're winning all the time, and it's hard to be happy whenever you're losing all the time. So there's something that, you try to stay as even keel as you possibly can, but ultimately, you just go out every night and just give it your best efforts.
How much do you follow the game right now, and what do you think of the changes, some of the rules, things that are going on right now?
Well, those my answer's tied to both of that. There's some things that I really don't agree with. There's some things that as a catcher, I don't like the one knee thing. I don't really like the pitch clock. So there's some things that, I don't follow it as closely as I used to. The game's changed a lot. The strategy, the situational hitting. There's some things that I'd really like to see them, the hitters, the offenses, and the defenses get back to.
I'm an 80s kid. I appreciate you taking some time today. I followed this team. I followed 80s baseball so very closely. So I appreciate you spending some time today.
Joe, it's my pleasure. Always great to be back in St. Louis.
There you go. There's the former Cardinal catcher, Mike LaValliere, in St. Louis. Had a chance to visit yesterday. He also did the show, the Live at Lowe's show with Mike Claiborne and Rick Horton. He was on the broadcast yesterday with the guys. So very cool to have him back in town. And as he said, that's so nice to be part of that alumni group for the Cards. And they do such a nice job. This organization does such a great job in honoring their alumni and really taking care of those folks. Saturday signings in the museum happen just about every Saturday home game during the season, and a lot of former players in there, and they sign. It's free with your museum admission, so it's a really cool program, and I'm lucky enough to get a chance to visit with some of those guys as well. We are going to try to touch base with the Cards manager, Oliver Marmol, here coming up in just a bit. His lineup is out. We'll talk about that a little bit with the Cards manager. We'll talk about what's going on with this team, of course, and obviously the answers aren't easy, and they aren't coming for this team as it currently sits, trying to snap an 8-game losing streak here today as they face the Tigers for one last time on this homestand and in this series before they go back out on the road. They will begin a series tomorrow night at Chicago. They'll play the Cubs for the next 3 games before they take their next off day, which will be Thursday. And at that point, they're on their way to Boston for a series there with the Red Sox. So things keep rolling here, and we'll talk it over with Oliver Marmol here coming up in just a bit. It is the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. I'm Joe Pott, live from Busch Stadium. We'll come back here after the break, and we'll catch up with the Cards manager, Oliver Marmol, coming up here in just a bit. This is KMOX.
Celebrate 10 St. Louis area women at the 2023 Women of Achievement Luncheon, Tuesday, May 9th at the Ritz-Carlton, St. Louis. Visit WOASTL.org for more details.
KMOX Enter Service Weekend, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
The best donuts in Missouri in 2023 can be had 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at Old Town Donuts. For more than 3 decades, get a dozen for less than $10 with a coupon from the Old Town Donuts Facebook page in Florissant and Cottleville.
Teammates thought future Hall of Famer Jerry Kelly was nuts hanging up his glove to start a heating and air company. Till they called.
Thanks for calling, Jerry Kelly, the right man for the job.
And reached 10-year-old Jill Kelly wearing jammies in the kitchen. Jerry knows talent, they'd say, and knows it don't mean nothing without love. From Jill to today's award-winning teams, Jerry knew. Talent multiplied by real love and hard work, that's a grand slam.
Thanks for calling, Jerry Kelly.
Can you imagine a magical world
filled with elves and fairies
and pixies and sprites
whose only job is to make people happy?
They want to see you smile
and laugh
and sing
and dance a little.
These magical beings will suddenly appear
when you call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
And then you'll look at babies and smile.
And tell delivery people to have a wonderful day.
And wave at your neighbors whenever you see them.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
As the weather warms up, you start spending more time outside. We have wonderful parks in the St. Louis area, but you could turn your own backyard into your own park, your own place of rest, relaxation, and fun. Call my friends at Chesterfield Fence and Deck and get started on a plan to transform your backyard. Would you like a beautiful natural cedar deck or a maintenance-free vinyl fence? You will get the best in customer service and even a free in-home estimate at no obligation and free project design from Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Imagine a pergola or a beautiful patio in your backyard. If you've dreamed of a custom sunroom or screen room, call the craftsman at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. And in the month of May, when you call, mention my name, Carol Daniel, and you'll get 20% off your next outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. You can see examples of their work by going to their 25,000 square foot showroom in Chesterfield or online at chesterfieldfence.com. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best.
Did you know that how happy you are could be related to how well you hear? According to the Better Health Institute, research shows that unaddressed hearing loss is associated with depression. Studies also show that people with hearing loss who use hearing aids often have fewer depressive symptoms, they have greater social engagement, and have improved quality of life. Therefore, having your hearing tested by an experienced audiologist is extremely important. Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I recommend you contact Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center. Dr. Bosler is very approachable. She is a doctor in audiology from the University of Illinois Champaign-Urbana. She carries the best performing hearing aids, and Dr. Bosler is an expert on the latest technology. Make an appointment today at one of Dr. Colleen Bosler's 3 St. Louis area offices, 636-441-7470, the Audiology Center, STL.com.
An important message from S&L Coins. S&L Coins pays top dollar. We buy neon signs, sports memorabilia, Bruriana, silver plate, fine gold filled, antiques, and collectibles. Get a quote with a call to S&L at 544-3600 or visit S&L 9300 Gravois, just east of McKenzie. Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, Saturdays, 9 to 4. Before you sell, call S&L 544-3600.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
Over 90,000 satisfied customers since 1929. Frederick Roofing, 314-645-2000.
Backed by popular demand, don't miss the Yachty Tumbler giveaway on Friday, May 19th, when the Cards host the Dodgers. That night, 25,000 fans aged 16 and older will take home their own stainless steel tumbler featuring Yachty Air Molina, courtesy of Coca-Cola and Quick Trip. This 30-ounce Yachty tumbler comes in 2 styles, and you'll not know which one you get until you enter the gates at Busch Stadium on Friday, May the 19th.
This is Ali Marmol. Get your tickets now at Cardinals.com.
On Sunday, May 21st, the Cardinals host the Dodgers, and that day, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will take home a Cardinals golf umbrella. Don't let a little rain ruin your parade or game with this green umbrella that features iconic Cardinals Hall of Famers. That's Sunday, May 21st, the Cardinals, the Dodgers, and the golf umbrella giveaway. For tickets and information, visit cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Ozzie Smith. Thank you for being the best fans in baseball.
Did you know St. Louis leads the nation in rounding up at our local McDonald's restaurants? That small change can make a big difference by supporting the building of a new local Ronald McDonald House. Please learn more at rmhcstl.com.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Joe Pod in for Tom Ackerman here on this Sunday morning from Busch Stadium. It's our Stifel Sports Studio for the morning as we welcome you back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning. We're still waiting to hear from the Cardinals manager, Oliver Marmol. He is scheduled to join us here coming up momentarily. He's got some last-minute meetings as he gets set for this game here today with the Detroit Tigers. Of course, the Cardinals going to try to snap that 8-game losing streak, so we'll talk to him here in just a bit. Cardinals lineup is out for this Sunday afternoon, and it's similar to yesterday. Lars Nootbaar will lead things off. He is in right field. Paul Goldschmidt hits second. He is at first. Nolan Gorman will hit in the number 3 spot today, and he gets the start back at second base. Nolan Arenado cleans up. He is at third. Wilson Contreras is your DH again. Brendan Donovan is in left field here this afternoon. Dylan Carlson is in center field, hitting in the number 7 spot. Tommy Edman hits 8th and plays at short. Andrew Kisner is the catcher and hitting 9th for the Redbirds. Steven Matz on the mound makes his 7th start of the year. Matt's looking for his first win of the season here in 2023, and it's been a tough go of things, obviously, for Steven Matz so far this season. He has really not had a very deep start. He has gone into the 6th. Actually, I guess he's gone into the 6th 4 times. I was looking at the wrong thing, but so he's gone into the 6th 4 times, but he has not had a quality start yet this year. And his last start was his shortest start of the season at San Francisco. Went 4 innings in that one. Gave up just 2 runs, but he threw 90 pitches in 4 innings in that start at San Francisco. His best start of the year came against Pittsburgh here at home back on April 15th. 2 runs in that game in 5 2/3 innings in that one. 2 earned runs and 3 hits, but 5 walks in that one. And he's got 13 walks over his 26 innings so far this year. So the walk rate a little higher than they'd like it to be. He'll try to snap that snapped that streak. I said his last start was at San Francisco. That was his second to last start. His last start came against the Angels here at home. He went 5 innings in that game, gave up 4 runs on 6 hits in that one. So the San Francisco start actually came just one start earlier than that. But he'll be on the mound for the Redbirds today. Good to see Nolan Gorman back in the lineup today. And back starting at second base. He's had some back tightness as well. So good to see him back in there. And certainly really good to see him defensively, because that means that likely that back is at least loosening up on him, feeling a little bit better. For a while, it was that he could take some at-bats, probably might not be able to get out in the field. He did have a pinch hit appearance in yesterday's game. But now he's back in the starting lineup today. So that is good to see. So hopefully we do get a chance to visit with the Cardinals manager here coming up. His normal spot, of course, is that 10:15 spot, but he let us know that he's in a meeting. He will be joining us still, or he's going to do his best to join us here this morning. We're going to visit with Polo Asensio here coming up as well. I just saw Polo outside our studio here, so he'll be in here in just a bit as well, and we'll chat with him about what he sees in this club. He's also got a couple of cool stories to share, as he always does. He's a fantastic guest to have on here, whether it's on Sports on a Sunday Morning or Sports Open Line, all very good. Yesterday, the running of the Kentucky Derby, the 149th running of the Kentucky Derby, and Mage is your Kentucky Derby winner as he edges 2 fills yesterday. And Javier Castellano, a Hall of Fame jockey, gets his very first Kentucky Derby win, so that's really cool. They had a ton of scratches in this one, including Forte, who was the morning line favorite. He was the favorite yesterday morning, but he was scratched yesterday morning after being examined by veterinarians, taking his normal Saturday warm-up run, and they didn't like some of the way he was moving around, so he was scratched. But a lot of horses going down over the last couple of weeks or so leading up to the Derby, and including yesterday. So Mage wins it at 15-1, 2 fills. Is second. Angel of Empire is third as far as the Kentucky Derby goes yesterday. St. Louis City didn't get a chance to finish its game last night. They were on the road at FC Dallas. They got to the 50th minute and then were washed aside. Not really washed aside as much as they were pushed aside due to some nasty weather there in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Lots of lightning. They initially went into a suspension, a postponement, took the teams off the field, but had to eventually call that game. So what happens now is that'll actually go back to that particular point. They'll go back to the 50th minute, restart play. They'll have to use the same roster structure and construction that they had for this first game as they decide where and when that one will be made up. So that'll be a decision that'll come from Major League Soccer as well as Dallas and St. Louis City. They'll figure out when that one will be made up. We will also visit with Lutz Pfannenstiel coming up in our second hour. He, of course, the sporting director at St. Louis City. He's on the call for a Bundesliga game here this morning, so we'll catch up with him. We're going to talk to him about halftime of that game. I don't even know what game he's calling here this morning, but we'll catch up with him as he finishes up or as he takes a break at halftime. We'll have John Mozeliak coming up in the second hour. We're also going to visit with Christy Connoyer, who is the head softball coach at St. Louis University. So Oliver Marmol is good to go. So we're going to switch things off here to the phone lines, and we'll say good morning on this Sunday morning to the Cardinals manager, Oliver Marmol, and thanks for taking some time. I know it is busy on a game day, and we certainly appreciate it.
No, sorry about that, guys. We had a couple player meetings, but doing well.
And again, not just today, but throughout this whole thing, I know this is a tough time, and you have things that you are working through. You are working through with your players, with your coaches. So just taking a few minutes for us is certainly appreciated. Let's start with some good. It was nice to see Adam Wainwright, number 50, back on the mound yesterday for you.
It was for a lot of different reasons, just overall presence on the mound in the clubhouse. This is a guy that has done an amazing job over the years and just adding to the culture. So we've missed him on the road and on some of the trips that we've taken, just being around the guys. But it was good to see him on the bump for sure.
And he gives you 5 innings yesterday, and he was particularly sharp in the first couple of innings. Ran into a little trouble there in the 5th inning, but do you like where he's at making this first big league start yesterday?
I do. I do. He was able to give us 5. He did get some swing and miss on the breaking ball. Velo was what we would have expected. So yeah, no, we like where he's at, but it's definitely good to have Adam. I'll tell you that.
Let's switch gears to today's starting pitcher. What have you seen from Steven Matz? He's given you 3 or 4 starts that he's gone into the 6th inning, but he's just not found a way to get you much deeper than that. And he's a guy that particularly has kind of had some of that bad luck. When he pitches well, other things don't go right.
Yeah, but there's a combination of a couple things with Matt, and his curveball is a big player for him, and his ability to have that third pitch is important, and he just hasn't had that. There's some things going on with the overall grip of it and shape of that pitch that hasn't allowed it to be effective. He threw a bullpen a couple of days ago and felt a lot better about it, and that's the first time that he's felt like that's made some progress. So hopefully we see a different version of that today in order to keep guys off balance.
What do you have available to you in the bullpen here this afternoon?
That's a heck of a question. Guys are out there playing catch right now. There's a chance we're very limited today with just how that game went yesterday. If you look at Stratton, he's throwing every other day, 2 innings apiece, 20 pitches, 28 pitches, and then 21 yesterday. So we'll see his availability. Cabby's thrown back-to-back days. Verhagen's thrown every other day this week. Gallegos threw back-to-back, and then Helsley was dealing with a little bit of discomfort behind his knee. Nothing crazy alarming, but he definitely unavailable yesterday, and our hope is he's available today, but we'll find out here in about 15 minutes.
Oliver Marmol with us, Cardinals manager. And as you go through this stretch and this streak, which has now reached 8 games, how do you balance when you are, when you're talking to whether it's individual players, you're addressing your group as a whole, how do you balance, the sky is not falling, but on the same side, there has to be some urgency about getting out of this 8-game streak?
You just nailed it. There has to be urgency. This is not okay. This is not acceptable to what's expected here in St. Louis and this organization. So the message is clear, but you have a different group every year. And you can sit here and say, well, it's a very similar group. It is, but it's a different experience, and guys are in different spots and feel differently about their seasons and their swings or their pitches. So although you may have a similar group, not everybody's feeling the same way. So you look at your group and you figure out what is it that they need to hear. And this group doesn't need a beating. They don't need the hoorah. You got to get after it. What the hell's going on? If anything, this group's trying too hard. And they care a ton. Like, I read off these names: Newbark, Goldie, Gorman, Arenado, Contreras, Donovan, Edmund. Like, you go through that. These guys care. They take their careers extremely serious, and they're not having the success that they'd like to have early on. And the part that stinks is it's happening all at once. Are some guys starting to come out of it? Yeah, we're starting to see Newt take some better swings. We're starting to see Arenado take some better swings. He's had a tough start, and he hates that this is going on this early on in the season. And then you start looking at Donovan, and he's having a different year than he had last year, and he's having to make adjustments in the second year up here. So you start to put this all together, and it's unfortunate, the timing of it, but the reality is, does there need to be urgency? Absolutely. Like, is our season over? Far from it. We've played a month of baseball, and there's a lot of baseball to be played. So we're going to continue to get after it. But yeah, we need to continue to take steps in the right direction and change this quickly.
Adam Wainwright made a point that as he looked back through the years that he's been here, that he's played, there seems to be a rough month in there somewhere. It just feels differently since it's the first month, doesn't it?
No, you're spot on. And that's the part that's tough, is that you're starting the season this way. So it starts to creep into people's head, like, is this who we are, right? And when you've played 2 months of baseball and you've built in a cushion and you're 4 games up and you go on a stretch that isn't favorable, and then you're 4 games down after it, you still have something to anchor to that allows you to say, this isn't who we are. This is, let's get back to getting after and playing the style of baseball that we need to play. So when you start this season off this brutal, you start to question, is this who we are? Do I think this is who we are? My answer is absolutely not. We're starting to play better baseball. We're still on the wrong end of it. A player here and there that gets you at the end of the game. But at the end of the day, this isn't who we are. This is a tough stretch. It's not good that we're starting this way. But if you go back throughout the years, there's been 3-17 stretches, 5-15 stretches. There's been really bad months of baseball. You just have already built a cushion of wins that you can draw from. That's just not the case at the moment.
Ali Marmol, thanks so much. I know you have other media requirements to get to today, and you've got a pregame ceremony for a pretty good player named Miguel Cabrera. So appreciate you taking some time today. Good luck today. We'll hear from you after the game.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's Ali Marmol, the Cards manager, with us here on Sports on a Sunday Morning. We'll take a break. We'll come back with the Spanish voice of the Cardinals. Polo Asensio joins us next. That's coming up here on KMOX.
Broadcasting from the Underline Tree Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. Let's be honest. Shopping for insurance is a pain in the you-know-what. I'm Zach Gibson, owner of Zachary Gibson Insurance Agency. Let my agency shop for you. As an independent insurance agent, I can shop numerous insurance companies to help design a plan at the best possible price to help you with your home, auto, life, health, and business insurance. Contact me at ZachGibsonInsurance.com. That's ZACGibsonInsurance.com. You can also call 314-210-3649 and let me shop for you.
What a beautiful spring. Hi, I'm Tim Gamma from Gamma Tree Experts. Your property value is as much about your landscape as it is your home. The trees and shrubs that grow along with you and your family are valuable assets that deserve care and protection. Call our team of certified arborists to inspect your valuable trees and shrubs today. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. For pruning, fertilization, or removal, call today at 725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
Is your bank, brokerage, or your insurance company telling you to buy an annuity? They may have limited access to the best rates available. You need solutions, not someone pitching you a specific product. Call for your complimentary retirement and income book at 844-513-SAFE. That's 844-513-7233. And also join me, Ben Coons, for the Retirement and Income Radio Show, heard here every Saturday at 3 p.m. on KMOX Radio.
Spring has sprung and we're ready for you at St. Louis Composting. This year, skip the garden center mayhem and conveniently order your compost, garden soil, or mulch for delivery straight to your home. Online at stlcompost.com. That's stlcompost.com.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday Morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back in here to Busch Stadium. Joe Pot in for Tom Ackerman here this morning as the Cards get set to take on the Tigers here at Busch Stadium. And it's my pleasure to be joined by the Spanish language voice of the Cardinals. That is Polo Asensio. Thanks for coming into the studio. And
buenos dias.
Yes, absolutely.
Where is Tom? Why is he not here?
Something about a TV assignment.
TV
I don't know.
I'm telling you, he's big timing us now.
Too big.
Joe, buenos dias. Good morning, everybody. We're here. Busch Stadium, beautiful Busch Stadium. Nice weather, a little humid, a little hot.
I know it feels like summer, right?
It does. It does. That's why I'm wearing, something a little tighter than the usual loose stuff because, want to keep cool. Hopefully the bats heat up a little bit. Hopefully the guys get it going. And one thing I can tell you, and talking to a few of them here at the stadium after the game, before the game, nobody's giving up. Nobody is hanging them up. They know nobody's feeling sorry for themselves, for them, and they're not feeling sorry for themselves. They know there's a lot of work to be done. They know it's possible still to make a nice run. There's about 130 games left in the season. And one thing that I tell people, Joe, if this stretch was in the middle of the season, if your record was 40-50, yeah, it looks pretty bad to be 10 under, but not as bad as being 10 and 24, whatever we are now. It's a different situation, difficult situation. the group of players is there, and if not, we need to figure out a way because this cannot. And what I see is this cannot continue. This is the Cardinals. This is not a team that there's a lot of teams that going into the season they know they're not going to be great. Everybody wants to be great and want to hit lucky stars every day, but this team was built to win, and we're just not winning.
You hit it on the head, and I just literally got finished talking to Oliver Marmol about that. And Adam Wainwright said this last week. There's a stretch like this seemingly every year, right? Maybe it's July, maybe it's August, whatever it is. It feels worse because we're starting this way. And what Ollie said was, at least when it happens later in the season, you've got something to anchor yourself to. So we had a good start. We anchor ourselves. They have not established that yet. They have not established who they are, what this team is. And that makes a big difference because it is right now.
I believe this team is not this team. Like, this is not the team that we have. This is not the situations that we have. This is not the chemistry that we are. And winning solves everything. You win 1, you win 2, win 3, win 6 out of 8. Things are going to start feeling a lot better. The pitching is going to start feeling a lot better. The catching is going to start feeling a lot better. The fielding is going to start feeling a lot better. When you see players make mental mistakes, like we saw yesterday, a couple, I mean, they try to make the play, but they try to win the game with one pitch, with one play, with one at bat, and that's not possible. This is a team effort. This is not basketball. This is not soccer where you need one Messi, one Michael Jordan, one Stephen Curry to be the one carrying the team. This sport, this is why I love baseball so much. You need everybody to do something special to be a special team. You cannot have just one player, and we've seen it in basketball especially. You have LeBron, you have Kobe, you have Shaq, a dominant figure on the court, and that can take you to the finals. Baseball, you can have the best pitcher in baseball. I don't know who it is right now, Strider, I don't know, Kershaw, one of those guys, and you still can be, an under 500 team. So baseball is a different team effort, and this team needs to get it together, and I still believe in my team.
Paulo Asensio is the Spanish language voice of the Cardinals. You have expanded, not you personally. The team has expanded its Spanish language radio network. Already the largest radio network in Major League Baseball. Now you've added 5, 6, 7 stations. What kind of feedback are you getting about that?
Fantastic. Great. The feedback that we're getting about growing and growing and growing. The Tigers, this is a moment that it made me realize that what I'm doing, what we're doing, it's more than just for Cardinals fans or Cardenales. The Tigers started their Spanish broadcast last season with one game, right? One game last season. This game, they're doing 20 now, and they're doing something that we're not doing. They're actually doing some games on the road, which to me, that's great.
Right.
Like, you're only doing 20 games, that's great, but you're going to have some games on the road, and that's the next goal here, to move on the road, because people ask, hey, so when are we having the whole season? When are we doing this? And all I can say is, like, if it was up to me, I would have started 3 years ago. But obviously, it's a process, slowly moving. Now with the network, it's a big step. And we're going to be in London. Benjamin Molina, my partner in the booth, myself, we're going to be in London with the Cardinals against the Cubs.
I'm a good engineer. I can run some.
But can you make some tea for us? King Charles.
Just a spot of tea?
Charles, the King of England. She likes it. My friend Skylar is here. Hi, Skylar. Yeah, we're here, and the other thing about what we're doing here, and I heard this this week when the Cardinals had a meeting with MLB. Okay, so who's coming with you?
Sure,
we're talking about production and about booths in the stadium, and the Cardinals said, well, we're having our English radio, our English TV, and our Spanish radio. The Cubs said, oh, you're bringing your Spanish radio? Yeah, we are. We were not thinking about bringing them. And the Cardinals said, okay. And then the Cubs said, you know what? Our guys are coming too. So we are pushing the envelope for other teams to do something that it just makes a lot of sense. Because as you know, as everybody knows, without Latin players, baseball is a lot different. Without Latin players in any team, baseball is a lot different. Look at, like teams like the Rays, like the Padres. I don't know if you've seen the Padres lately. They went to Mexico City to face the Giants. They beat them twice. They started a tradition of wearing luchador masks given to them by Rey Mysterio. And after the game, they're hitting piñatas because they won. Now, every time they win, they have their player of the game And the offensive side, the hitting side, gets to break the piñata. So, hey, Latinos, we're part of baseball, and we're part of Cardinal Baseball, Cardinal Nation, and hopefully we keep growing. And I think we will, of course.
Polo, we lost a friend in Mike Shannon.
Yes.
You have a great story about the first time that you met Mike Shannon, if you would share that with us.
I am going to tell you the part that I can share.
That you can.
I was very nervous. 2016, when Ann Carroll, Dan Farrell said, you know what? You are the guy. You're the guy who's going to do 2 games this season, and let's see what happened next. I was happy. I'm like, oh, cool. Let's go. I've never done MLB play-by-play. I did Mexican League Winter Ball play-by-play. And I was not nervous, as you can tell, and you've seen me before, and we've talked many times. I don't get nervous with the microphone. That's when I feel like myself, that I can go out there and say things. And luckily, still I haven't said anything stupid that gets me in trouble. I was nervous to meet not the players, not Yadier Molina, not any of them, to meet Mike Shannon. Why? Because he is the voice of the Cardinals, right? When I got here, he was doing Cardinal baseball every single day. And in this world of media, there's a lot of egos. Some of them for good, some of them for bad. And I didn't know Mike Shannon. I had no idea who he was. Obviously living in California, following other teams, you hear the names, but you don't pay a lot of attention. And so I start reading about Mike Shannon. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. This guy is Mr. St. Louis. So I got nervous. I'm like, what is he going to react to have somebody else share the duty of the voice of the Cardinals, right? And I'm like, okay. And Ann Carroll was very nervous to introduce me to Mike Shannon, because, again, we didn't know what his reaction was going to be. So she's like, Polo, this is Mr. Mike Shannon. He might be a little tough. I'm like, hey, I'm Mexican. We can take it. So I walk in there, and I remember she wanted me to wait in the back of the booth. I'm like, no, I'm going all in. So I went all in, and I'm like, hey, Mr. Shannon. I didn't wait for her to say, da-da-da-da. He's like, oh, hey, right, amigo, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And when he gave me a hug, the first thing he said, what took them so long? And I said to him, and I get goosebumps, I told him, right? He's like, yeah, what took them so long? I'm like, well, hopefully it took them so long to find me, or me to find them. And now we're here. And that is a moment that I will never forget. Then he started talking to me in Spanish, and that part, even we're in English right now, I cannot repeat what he said because it will be, the FCC will be all over us. Yes. But yeah, I loved him. And after that, every time that I saw him, he was always gracious, always happy. He will come into our booth and say hi to us once in a while. And his wife, Lori, she was great with us. And the day that I learned that he passed, this past week, I texted her a couple of times. I texted her a picture that she took of Mike and I. That's one of my favorite pictures, period, in my life. And after that picture, she actually called me. She called me. I didn't want to call her because I didn't know, she was busy or something. She called me and she said, Polo, thank you so much for the love you gave Mike. And I'm like, thank you, guys.
Well, Polo, thanks so much. I don't want to cut you off, but we are up against the top of the hour. Thank you for being gracious with us. That's Polo Asensio, the Spanish language voice of the Cardinals. We're coming back after the news on KMOX.
The Midwest Money slogan, isn't cash in the bank better than scrap in the drawer? This is Johnny Rabbit. Midwest Money, the oldest coin shop in St. Louis. Buying, selling, and trading since 1971. Silver and gold, coins, sterling silver, flags, medals, daggers, and more. Not sure what you have? Bring your collectibles to someone you can trust. Midwest Money at the corner of Hampton and Holly Hills. You'll be happy you did.
What are you getting your mom for Mother's Day? Maybe your local farm and home supply can help. Check out some of the great deals now through May 14th. Grab a 10-inch hanging basket for only $8.99. Help her decorate outside with 20% off all spring decor, stakes, and flags. If she loves watching birds, save 10% off all hummingbird feeders. Or pick from the colors of the rainbow with 33% off all Noble Outfitters tug-free V-neck t-shirts. Check out all the deals for Mother's Day sale on our View Ads page at farmandhomesupply.com.
This is Tom Ackerman. McKelvey Homes is proud to announce they sold 30 homes in the first quarter and will donate $1,898, $1898, the year they were founded 125 years ago, per home to Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. They call it Homes for Health. That's a total of $56,940. You can learn more about McKelvey Homes and all of their single-family, multifamily residences and more at McKelveyHomes.com.
KMOX KEZK HD2 St. Louis.
This is KMOX, the trusted voice of St. Louis. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Mara Rubin in New York. Near Dallas, Texas, another mass shooting. A gunman opened fire at a crowded outlet mall. KTVT's J.D. Miles.
Stephen Spainhour raced to the Allen Outlet Shopping Center when his son Freddie called to say there had been shots fired outside the H&M store where he worked.
When I heard those shots and then when the multiple shots happened, my heart just immediately just dropped.
Spainhour says he got there before any first responders, and while a handful of people around him recorded videos of the bodies on the ground, he tried to save lives.
The first girl I walked up to was crouched down, covering her head in the bushes. So I felt for her pulse, pulled her head to the side, and she had no face.
8 people were killed. Then the gunman was killed by police. President Biden ordered flags be flown at half-staff at the White House. On Tuesday, President Biden will sit down with top congressional leaders to discuss the debt ceiling. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen was on ABC.
Treasury finds itself in a position where we're unable to pay all of the bills that come due that day. And this would be really the first time in the history of America that we would fail to make payments that are due.
Several people injured yesterday after an air conditioning unit crashed into the pool at the Gaylord Rockies Resort near Denver. Fire Chief Alec Auten.
There were between 50 and 100 people in the pool area at the time of the collapse, and we transported 6 people, 2 with critical injuries and then 4 with non-life-threatening injuries.
The celebrations continue after the official crowning of the king.
I'm Vicky Barker in London at one of the thousands of street parties being held across Britain today to celebrate the coronation. About 24 people are gathered here under a 14th century church tower and under the flight path to Heathrow Airport. I also have to add, celebrating a new king and a new beginning.
The situation is getting more dangerous at a nuclear power plant in Ukraine. The BBC's Hugo Bachego reports from Kyiv.
The latest warning coming from the head of the IAEA, the concern that he's voicing is that this potential counteroffensive and increased military activity around this facility could result in a nuclear accident.
Also in Ukraine, Russia is being accused of using phosphorus bombs. Correspondent Adriana Diaz has more.
In drone video released by Ukraine, Bakhmut can be seen ablaze as what appears to be phosphorus rains down. And according to a Human Rights Watch report, phosphorus can burn through metal.
And its use is considered a war crime when used against civilians. This is CBS News.
Need to hire quality candidates fast? You need Indeed. Their powerful hiring platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Awarded 2023 Large Market Radio Station of the Year by the Missouri Broadcasters Association, KMOX.
At 11:03, we have mostly cloudy skies and 82 degrees downtown at the Gateway Arch. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow. Our top story, St. Louis police are investigating 2 separate homicides, claiming 4 lives, and 7 other shootings within a span of less than 12 hours.
It started last evening before 7:30 with 2 people, a man and woman, being shot and killed in the 2700 block of Cherokee. But it preceded 4 people, 2 fatally being shot Friday night at the Exotic Club on Cherokee. Less than an hour later, 2 more people shot, 1 dead in the 1500 block of Destrehan. Just before midnight, a man arrived at the hospital with a gunshot wound, said it happened at 70 in North Market. 20th and Agnes, 4 people shot. 2 women died, 2 others conveyed to the hospital. Just after 3:30 this morning, a man showed up at the hospital, said he was shot somewhere on Washington Avenue, but could not provide any other information. And a man is in critical condition after being shot just after 4 this morning in the 3200 block of Halliday. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
1 injury reported from a fire that involved 3 homes in St. Louis County overnight. Creve Coeur Fire Department Assistant Chief Andy Sears spoke with Fox 2 at the scene.
The wind was really blowing kind of from the right to the left, which extended into houses. And we were, there was a chance this could have extended another couple houses down in the street.
But Maryland Heights and other departments helped keep the flames from spreading. Significant storm damage reported in parts of north central Missouri. High winds yesterday battered parts of Trenton and Grundy County, including a hole ripped in the roof of the United Methodist Church there. The hail was approaching baseball size. The National Weather Service confirms a tornado was spotted over Linnaeus, Missouri. It is Navy Week in St. Louis. More than 90 events are planned, including some being held today. The Navy Great Lakes Band is putting on a free concert starting at noon until 12:45. That's at the outdoor stage of Ballpark Village. And Navy Captain Charlize Hassan will be throwing out the ceremonial first pitch at the Cardinals game. She's a Gateway STEM school graduate. Weather for this afternoon, temperatures around 88 for a high. Couple of afternoon thunderstorms are possible. Overnight, it's going to stay warm with thunderstorms in spots. A low of 66, could have some windy conditions. Tomorrow, more clouds than sun, maybe some thunderstorms, high of 85, and then we're about 82 for Tuesday and 80 on Wednesday. Right now, it is 81 in St. Peters, 83 in Florissant. Right now, we have 82 downtown at the Gateway Arch. I'm Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
This is the Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Now from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Back in on the Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning. Joe Pott, and we'll switch gears here now. Talk a little college softball. Christy Connoyer is in her 13th season as the head coach for the St. Louis University Billikens. And I guess now, Coach, I need to say the Atlantic 10 champion St. Louis University Billikens. They clinched their first regular season conference title yesterday with a win at Rhode Island. Coach, thanks for taking some time here on this Sunday morning.
Absolutely. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate you taking the time and to talk about our team.
This is a team that, and really, you have turned it on, kind of found another gear since Atlantic 10 play started. I know you dropped to the opener of a doubleheader yesterday at Rhode Island, but before that had won 12 straight games. You've won 19 in Atlantic 10 play already, looking for number 20 later this afternoon in just a little bit. But you've kind of found that second gear going into conference play, which is, I think, what every coach would want.
It has been a surreal, pretty fun run here. And again, it's those moments of, I know I sound like a coach when I say it's not how you start, it's how you finish. But it's what you take from each game and what we learned in preseason to prepare us for this run. It's senior leadership up the middle. You got seniors on the mound, a senior behind a plate, senior in center, and with a supporting cast all around that are young, freshmen, sophomores, a bunch of them out there. And it's just been a good mix, learning from each other. The growth of this team has been remarkable. Like I said, taking what we needed from each game, wins and losses, and then finding some one-run victories. Some walk-offs have been pretty special.
Second in the Atlantic 10 in batting average. You're among the top half of the league in earned run average as well. You mentioned you're getting it from seniors, from younger players as well, but you do have a really good mix on both sides of the ball. You've got a center fielder that's probably in the mix for A-10 Player of the Year in Gabby Kowalik. You have Chloe Wendling in the circle, who probably could be Pitcher of the Year. So you literally have it on both sides of the ball, don't you?
Yes, we do. And then defensively, we're top, I think, roaming somewhere around 15 or 20 in the country in double plays per game. It's so our defense, when all those facets come together, like I said, it's pretty special. Chloe's done an exceptional job on the mound, really coming to her own. Her growth has been remarkable from freshman year to now, and what they've gone through, like fifth-year senior Gabby Kowalik, both those fifth years, building on experiences, to go through a COVID year and to have it taken away and come back. I think there's an appreciation for the game and their knowledge, and that they share also with the rest of the pitching staff, with the defense, with the offense. It's their leadership has been critical to our success.
And everybody obviously went through something during COVID. I am not sure that anybody went through the same thing that college athletes did and college students in general. And I said it a lot then, and continue to believe that, what COVID showed us is how resilient and how tough college athletes are.
Oh, absolutely. And how passionate they are about their sport. You take something away from them, they come back. They had a lot of opportunities to go different ways with it. But what they went through to get back on the field also shows their passion.
Oh.
The resiliency, absolutely. That passion, that drive, just to, simplifying it, call me old school, whatever, but just to play catch, to be back on the field and play catch again. And I think seeing these guys appreciate the joy in playing the sport is very rewarding.
Christy Connoyer with us here on Sports on a Sunday Morning. She's the head coach at St. Louis University, the head softball coach as they get set for their final regular season game. A tune-up, if you will. The Atlantic 10 Championships begin later this week. You'll be in Fordham, at Fordham in the Bronx for the Atlantic 10 Championship. You've come close a couple of times. What does it take to get over the edge and to get over that hump, if you will?
And we've talked about this all year. Or everybody has a goal. Let's win the A10. Let's win the championship. We talk about getting to that championship game. Our goal is to get to the championship game. Once you get there, all bets are off. Everybody's seen everybody go at it. You ride a little momentum at that time. I think you play fundamental softball. We've talked about that as well. Some of the goals and some of the internal stuff. Do the routine well. And I know that sounds maybe pretty simple, but hit your spots on pitching, field the ball on defense, drive in runs, timely hitting. Again, I know that sounds simplified, but if you do the routine well, I think we're going to like the outcome. So we still spend time on fundamentals as we go forward.
And it takes some depth to get there. In a conference championship, your depth is almost always in play.
That's true, and I think we're small but mighty. We've got a smaller roster, 17, and we're playing Rhode Island today. They've got a roster of 25.
Wow.
It's all across the board. But as much as it seems like a small roster, there is depth. There are people that'll step up in a pinch hit role and drive in. We had a game winner last weekend against George Mason, a pinch hit roll, walk off, single to right, and we score. So a lot of different people stepped up in different roles to get the job done, and it's been fun.
And you absolutely need those kind of players, right? The role players that maybe that's when they're called on. Maybe they're coming in to pinch run and steal a base, or as you say, pinch hit and get you a walk-off knock. But you need those players. You rely on those players throughout a long season.
Oh, absolutely. And even yesterday, we win 5-4 in the second game. Pinch runner was the one that tagged up at third and scored the winning run. So it takes everybody. And I think that's what's needed, the depth and the strength throughout our lineup. Everybody through 1 through 9, as well as I say, through 12, 13, 14. Those guys have come up in clutch situations. Maybe perform, maybe not, but every time we do it, we say, what can you take from that experience? Take what you need, learn from it, and put it in your backpack of experience, and let's go back at it.
Coach, there's such a championship culture at St. Louis University, and it's even building now, and it's even stronger on the women's side, perhaps. The women's soccer team, an absolute juggernaut. The women's basketball team made a nice run to the NCAA tournament this year as well. How much do you talk with those other coaches and the other folks in the entire athletics department just about what's going on and what it takes to get to the top?
Oh, there's a great support system of coaches that we talk quite often. Katie Shields, she was one of the first ones to shoot me a text yesterday, and her and I will talk through the good and the bad, through the challenges, through the on the field, off the field stuff. Katie and I have a ton of research she has done and the culture she has instilled in that program. Rebecca being new, but still run into them in the hallways, stop in the office. There is a good rapport among the coaches, and that's been special around the department. And the same with Darren. I talked to Darren. I talked to Kevin. I talked to Katie. Talked to John Bell. Talked to Justin in tennis, Zoe in field hockey. All across the board. There's a lot of good conversation of working through challenges and successes.
Coach Christy Connoyer, thank you so much for taking some time today. They're going to be on the field here this afternoon as they finish up the regular season at Rhode Island, and then it's on to the Atlantic 10 Championship, the A-10 regular season champion St. Louis Billikens. We certainly appreciate you spending some time with us here on a Sunday morning.
I appreciate you, Joe, taking the time to, like I said, celebrate the success, but celebrate these young women that do it well on and off the field, classroom, field. They're a pretty special group.
Good luck today and good luck in the championship.
Appreciate it, Joe. Thanks again.
I appreciate it as well. That is the head women's softball coach at St. Louis University, Christy Connoyer, with us here. Sports on a Sunday morning continues on KMOX.
We go where you go. 11:20 a.m., 98.7 FM, KMOX.com.
Hey, it's Debbie Monterey. Have you noticed that for sale signs in your neighborhood have been up for longer than normal? Why? Well, they probably don't have my friend and trusted realtor Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty's name on them, because agent selection matters. And that's why I recommend you call Gloria Liu. I've been telling you about Gloria for years now, and you should call Gloria before you list your home. Gloria has the buyers. More than 2,400 exclusive buyers in her database looking for a home in your neighborhood. Gloria sells twice as fast and for 5% more money on average when compared to other agents. With Gloria, you sell faster and for more money. And Gloria will guarantee upfront in writing that she'll sell your home at your price and your time frame, or she will buy your home herself. Call Gloria Liu today at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888 or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Hi, folks. Joe Buck. The experts at NewSpace understand your home office is an important part of your home. Whether you work from home remotely or just need a place to get online, NewSpace can help design a comfortable space. Go to newspace.com to get started on your custom home office. That's newspace.com.
Celebrate 10 extraordinary St. Louis area women for their outstanding volunteer service and leadership at the 2023 Women of Achievement Luncheon at the Ritz-Carlton St. Louis. From volunteer leaders in human welfare and arts and education to multicultural advocacy and humanitarian concerns. Come celebrate the 2023 Women of Achievement on Tuesday, May 9th at the Ritz-Carlton St. Louis. Doors open at 11:15 a.m. Reservations at WOASTL.org. Presenting sponsors are KMOX Radio, St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and Ladue News. For more information, visit WOASTL.org.
You know how you said it never gets cold around here anymore?
You did. I don't remember being colder.
Which is why I'm calling Jerry Kelly this second to schedule an AC tune-up.
It's not even springy outside.
So we do it today, Cub Scout, before every Tom, Dick, and Barry get ahead of us in line.
Or Tim, Nick, and Barry. I see your point, Doctor, especially this year with shortages, work outages, lines.
Let's call the Eagle Scout of ACs.
The Titan of tune-up.
The legend.
JerryKelly.com.
Jules on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on site. Jules on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jules on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches. Bring your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jules on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. That's 314-752-5000. So if you need some extra cash, looking for that one-of-a-kind piece, make Jules on Hampton your first stop. Jules on Hampton in St. Louis Hills.
Now, Y98 presents 90 and 60, a look back at the St. Louis City match against Dallas FC. Sponsored by Ponce Health Sciences University, creating new pathways to careers in healthcare.
Nelson off of a tee, gives to Leuven. Twists around 8 yards from box, fires a right footer that just sails a little high. FC Dallas gets ahead. Volley on the second phase by Ostrike. Now one by Vasilev, and it slips a little wide. FC flies forward with it. Leggett, oh, Berkey! Gorgeous entry pass by Leggett. Forces a diving save from Roman Berkey.
City in a weather delay at Toyota Stadium in Frisco, Texas, tied 0-0 with FC Dallas.
There will be no more soccer in Frisco, Texas.
This has been 90 and 60, presented by Ponce Health Sciences University. Tuesday, St. Louis City heads to Chicago for Open Cup tournament play. Kick at 7 on Y98 St. Louis.
Aspiring to be a doctor? Didn't score well on the MCAT? Gain all the confidence you need to succeed at Ponce Health Sciences University. PHSU, west of City Park on the corner of Jefferson and Market, prepares students for every aspect of a medical career. A Master of Sciences in Medical Science degree and MSMS from Ponce prepares students for the coursework, the time commitment, and the rigor for a future in healthcare. Learn more at stlouis.psm.edu. That's stlouis.psm.edu.
Back in on a Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning in the Stifel Sports Studio today, coming at you from Busch Stadium. Joe Pott in for Tom Ackerman, and we're pleased to be joined by the sporting director at St. Louis City SC. He is Lutz Pfannenstiel, and man, I appreciate it. I know it's halftime right now. You're actually calling a Bundesliga game. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm calling Dortmund against Wolfsburg. I just jumped off at halftime to have a little chat with you.
Well, I certainly appreciate that. Let's get right into it and talk about last night a little bit. Just got a little more than a half of play in before weather pushed things aside last night in Frisco at Dallas. What did you see from 50 minutes? I know there was a couple of chances, a couple of near misses. What did you see from that first 50 minutes or so?
Yeah, 0-0, and I think, we played a decent game. We had a few more chances than Dallas, so they didn't really hurt us too much when it came to their offense. We also didn't create a load of chances, but we had some, so especially when it came to the principles, trying to really get into the pressing and counter press, trying to win balls up high. I think it worked pretty well. And unfortunately, when lightning strikes, there's not much you can do. And that's what happened after exactly 50 minutes. So it was afterwards a game of patience. Will a weather channel open up, or will it be kicked off a later time in the evening, or actually will we fly back? So there was lots of options. In the end of the day, the league decided that it was too dangerous for the fans and for the staff and for the players. So we flew back home, and here we go.
Two more things about last night. Paul Arriola out for Dallas last night, forced them to kind of change their system. Was there a reactionary change? Was there an adjustment from City because of what Dallas did?
Well, I mean, Arriola, we know how he plays. I mean, he's when it comes to creativity, one of the top players in the league. So they just put a bit of a stronger guy up front. There was not that much really of an adjustment when the way they played, they opened the game, they distributed. It was more like a target man coming up instead of a more creative player. But I think for Dallas to lose Arriola and bring on whoever they have on the bench, it's always a tough cookie to swallow.
So the other thing is, last week in this spot, talking to Tom Ackerman, you were talking about the team playing a little bit more disjointed than you would have liked. Did you feel that connectivity was back? Did you feel like they were playing better as a unit last night?
100%. I mean, it was a really good reaction from the team. We had Rasmus Alm out as well, which was a player in the recent weeks who scored, who was in form. So we had to make a few adjustments in the starting lineup, but everybody was on the field, was very focused. We played our game. We didn't really care too much what was Dallas throwing at us, which I think that is our mentality anyway. Let's play our game first. Don't look too much at the opponent. Let them react to us and not we react to them. And I think, Dallas is a team traditionally always difficult to play. There's some really good technical players. They're playing some fast football. But I think we were definitely up for a good game yesterday. And unfortunately, we couldn't finish it the way we wanted it. But, there will be another 40 minutes played to a later time. We don't know yet when, but we're all looking forward to go back to Dallas and finish what we started.
This coming week, you've got the Open Cup back in play. You've got Chicago for the first of two in a row against the Fire, but first up is Tuesday. How do you deal with that, with balancing the Open Cup and wanting to play well and put on a good show there on the Open Cup compared to making sure that you get guys rest for the MLS season as well?
Yeah, that's it's a tough one to balance, because in the end of the day, of course, you're looking what is Chicago doing as well at the moment. Because
Right.
if you play them twice in 4 days, you need to at least have an idea. So we looked yesterday when they played Nashville, where they lost 3-0, and they left 5-6 of their starters out. So that's a clear indication that they really take the cup serious, that they will come with probably the strongest team at us on Wednesday. So it's for us to make a decision to sit down tomorrow to have a good training session and then see what we come up with for these next 2 games. You know, it's a tough decision to say, okay, it's only 4 more games in the cup and you would be in a final, or to focus on the league, especially as a new team. We need to be very smart about that. But I mean, Chicago is a team which have great individual players. They're playing a better season than recently. So it's definitely 2 important games for us against a rival not too far away. So it's interesting that the team which is since a very, very long time in the league. So we definitely want to measure ourselves with them and see what they come up with.
And the other side of that is, and Lutz Vandensteel with us, the sporting director at St. Louis City. You know the soccer history in this city, and I'm sure you know the Open Cup history in this city. And I know that you would like to put your names right up there alongside the 9 other champions that have come out of this city.
Yeah, and as I said, you know, I mean, it's not different for us like it is for Chicago. It's a quick competition. It's a competition where you can go through the round with 1 single elimination match. So 4 games, 5 games to win, and you have a big chance at silverware. So definitely something which we won't take lightly. We don't want to throw away. And yeah, we will definitely play both games against Chicago with different lineups, but with definitely very competitive lineups.
I mean, there's a chance you could essentially see 2 different teams on both sides there, as these 2 teams will meet twice in a 4-day period. You'll be without Tim Parker for at least the MLS game against the Fire because of yellow card accumulation.
Yeah, that's difficult ruling as well, because the game was not even finished yet. So,
right.
But as far as we figured it out, and I had a talk this morning to the league, yes, 100%. So that card will count. It will be that suspension which he will sit out for Saturday's game. And yeah, I mean, you know, Chicago definitely have a big squad, so there will be this rotation. It's a bit like I think the coaching staff of both teams, they're trying to outsmart each other. They're trying to be, let's see who is more clever than the other one, and see who gets the best out of these 2 games.
Lutz Vandensteel, thanks so much for taking some time. We'll let you get back to the second half of your game. Always appreciate you taking some time and filling us in, keeping us up to date on St. Louis City.
Thank you very much.
That is the sporting director at St. Louis City SC, Lutz Vandensteel, with us here, as he is every week here on Sports on a Sunday morning. Joe Pott in for Tom Ackerman from the Stiefel Sports Studio here at Busch Stadium today. It's the final game of the 3-game set between the Tigers and the Redbirds, and we'll get back to some baseball talk. The Cardinals' president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak, will join us in our next segment as we continue things here on a Sunday morning from Busch Stadium on your home for Cardinals baseball. This is KMOX.
KMOX Enter Service Weekend, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from thegelmanteam.com. If you want immediate cash for your home or to see what your home is actually worth in today's market, find out for free from the local experts. That's my friends Mark and Neil Gelman at thegelmanteam.com.
Ask yourself, what am I doing to guarantee I will have adequate inflation-hedged income that I may never outlive? Why not make sure your future income is growing and may last as long as you do? Call for your complimentary retirement and income book at 844-513-SAFE. That's 844-513-7233. And also join me, Ben Coons, for the Retirement and Income Radio Show, heard here every Saturday at 3 p.m. on KMOX Radio.
Hello Garage elevates your garage, adding additional entertainment space for graduation parties or other summer get-togethers you have planned. In as little as 48 hours, get organized and start planning that party. Visit them online at hellogarage.com.
Hi, it's Kent Newbold for Newbold Toyota. Your car is worth more than ever before, so why trust the damages for your servicing? Come see the factory-trained experts at Newbold Toyota in O'Fallon, Illinois, or newboldtoyota.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
Seems like the last few years now, the violence, the hate, the anger is growing. I'm going to try to keep this as upbeat as possible, but to all the police officers, I want you to know we have your back. Not to forget about the fire or EMS, first responders, and definitely not our military. You all put your life on the line. I can't tell you. There's not a word I can say. Thank you is just not enough. And I believe 99.9% of Americans respect what you do. Do whatever you have to do to get back to your family during your shift. From my family to your family, and I think I can speak for overwhelming majority of overwhelming majority of human beings. Stay safe. And thank you for protecting us and doing what you need to do.
It's already May, no doubt about it. Time is flying, and that's why it's so important to spend as much time with friends and family as you can. And everyone will want to hang out at your place when you've got the best yard on the block. Chesterfield Fence and Deck can really make it happen for you, whether you need a patio, a pergola, a sunroom, a screen room, a great patio. You name it, they can do it. It'll be the place that everyone wants to come and hang. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is a sign you have the very best. 55 years of experience, a third-generation family-owned company. They mean quality. And the quality they provide is a true value because this is something that will last for years to come. Mention me, Debbie Monterey, and they'll take 20% off your next outdoor project. You can pop in and see their showroom with beautiful displays of fences, decks, pergolas, sunrooms, screen rooms, patios, or they'll come to you. Just visit online at chesterfieldfence.com. It's Chesterfield Fence and Deck. For 55 years, the sign you have the very best.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Joe Pot in for Tom Ackerman this morning here in our Stifel Sports Studio from Busch Stadium. It is Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Glad to have you along here as we get you ready for some Cardinals baseball coming up today. It'll be the Cards and the Tigers, and we'll keep the baseball conversation moving as we welcome in the president of baseball operations. He is John Mozeliak. And Mo, happy Sunday.
Good morning. How are you, Joe?
I am doing well. Really good to see number 50 back on the mound yesterday for the Redbirds.
Well, as you know, this is a very, very tough month, if you will, of baseball. But, you know, getting Adam back was great to see. You know, I thought he pitched really well. You know, he did a lot of things we were hoping to see. And, you know, I think it's clear that we've missed him. So gave us a competitive outing, gave us a chance. And, you know, hopefully that's something we can build upon. As you know, we're really struggling right now, so any positive steps forward are very helpful at this time.
And I have to ask, as we talk about this team that, as you said, struggling right now, 8 straight losses. I know there is a lot of moving parts, a lot of things changing. So, of course, the news yesterday that Wilson Contreras will probably, at least for the short term, be kind of focusing on the DH role, perhaps playing a corner outfield spot. Can you just kind of reconcile the fact that you go out and get a big free agent catcher, but now he's going to play maybe some corner outfield for you?
Yeah, I would say the way I think I would try to summarize this right now is there's a lot of things about our process that I think he's still trying to learn and understand. And as he's doing so, we just want to take a little bit of pressure off of him to do it. I don't think you've seen him catch his last game by any means, but there'll be a way for us to get him back behind the plate. Clearly, when you look at like why we went out and signed him, I mean, one of the things that we were excited about was sort of the offensive upside that we were going to get on that in that regard. And so from that standpoint, we're still going to be able to capture that, but there is a learning curve here, and we have to accept that. And I think just to get us through the next foreseeable timetable, he's not going to be catching at this point.
So, to be clear, this is not a situation where some of the issues that have gone on with the starting rotation or the pitching, that you and Oliver Marmol are not saying that is because we have a new catcher and Wilson Contreras behind the plate.
I'm saying that there's nuances involved in a role like a catcher. And, clearly I think there's some things that we need to do differently. He needs to learn, and he's committed to working at that. But trying to work on it at game speed is really hard. And so from a coaching standpoint, our group is really going to focus on putting that curriculum together for him over the short term. And, ultimately our goal is to get him back behind the plate.
Sticking with the pitching staff, Steven Matz pitches today. He has certainly struggled himself, but he has also been the recipient of some bad luck, because when he's pitched well, it's been one of those days, or it's been some of those days, that other parts of the game have not gone on. Do you see some improvement? What do you want to see, I guess I should say, from today's start for Steven Matz?
I think the biggest thing for Steven is being able to attack the strike zone, trust his stuff, because when he's going well, he can have efficient innings, gets quicker outs, and has a much more controllable pitch count. But when you're seeing those long innings, high pitch count, it just in a way, it just your day is going to be shorter. And so historically, that first or second inning's been where he's kind of stumbled a little bit, and then he's kind of settled in and become more efficient. So my hope is he can get out early and be effective from the first and second inning on, and give us a start that gives us a chance.
Which might really be necessary today. When we talked to Oliver Marmol, he said there is a good chance the bullpen might be a little thin this afternoon.
Yeah, obviously they threw a lot the last few days. So, putting pressure on the starter, you hate to do it, but if we could have someone go deep, that would be helpful.
Are there other moves, other transactions that you are considering, that you were looking at, even without details? Just are there other players, I guess, on the radar still, maybe either from inside or from outside the organization, that you're considering here?
Well, I think right now anything you can do is pretty much limited to internal moves.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with regard to anticipating what some of those moves might look like this week, hopeful we can get good starts. Hopeful we can stay healthy, and hopeful we can avoid that. But we'll just see how today plays out and how the rest of the week plays out.
Some of the guys, obviously, at Memphis, a lot of the guys at Memphis playing very, very well. One of them is your left-handed starter, Matthew Liberatore. He actually had a tough start yesterday, but things are going well when your ERA actually jumps to 2.77, which is what happened to him yesterday. But he has sort of found himself, and I was listening to, and in fact, on this station, Matt Pauley was visiting with a gentleman who covers minor league baseball, Sam Dykstra, and he said that Matthew Liberatore has kind of discovered that fastball, and that velocity has ticked up. Have you seen that? And is that kind of what's been the key to his success this year?
Yeah, I think first off, we got to remind ourselves that he's still a very young man.
Sure.
But I think that the biggest thing over the last couple of years is the first couple months, it took him a while to get going. Whereas, right out of the gate, he was showing that velocity, using his fastball, getting some swing and misses on his fastball, because he has the off-speed stuff to complement that. And now you find a guy that's sitting, 95 to 98 from the left side. That's pretty impressive. And being able to control it, being able to use it as an actual asset instead of just more for show is something that we really wanted him to work on this off season, and he did that. So yeah, we're really impressed with what we're seeing out of him, and obviously just a phone call away should we need something. And so that part we're happy about.
From the position player side, Lucan Baker is having an outstanding season as well. The power has been there. The consistency has been there for him at the plate. What has he done differently that has been so good for him this year?
Another guy that historically has gotten off to very slow starts in the month of April, May, and then usually by midsummer picks it up and ends up with pretty respectable numbers at the end of the year. But this year he's just gotten off to that hot start. He might be someone that really benefited from just a lot of opportunity in spring training. So got to see a lot of major league pitchers. Obviously with Goldie participating in the WBC, Lukin got a lot more bats than he may have normally during a regular camp. So I think he's made the most of it, and we're super pleased with how he's performing.
Can you tell us about Jordan Walker and if you've seen the kind of progression and I guess the results that you were looking for when you sent him back down to Memphis, kind of the things that he was sent there to work on? Have you seen some of those things coming to fruition?
Well, I think that these things don't happen overnight, and
sure.
Really what you have to do is allow for some patience here. I know our coaches have a plan. They want to work that in with Jordan. And again, anytime you're doing something at game speed versus trying to practice is always challenging, but he knows what he needs to work on. He's intelligent, he's smart, he's diligent. And so I think that the changes that he's going to work on with the swing will happen over time, but it's not something that's just like hitting a light switch.
Before we let you go, you've got a special presentation coming up today to a baseball great here playing in his final season. That's Miguel Cabrera. You'll present him. You'll make a pregame presentation to him along with Adam Wainwright. But can you just talk about what it's like to have, and obviously we know in St. Louis, but what it's like to have a generational talent here finishing up his career and why you thought it was important to recognize him today?
Well, you look at what he meant to baseball. And obviously when he first came up with the Marlins, he was just one of those types of players that you knew was just an incredible talent. And then obviously signed with Detroit, but a very impactful player on the field, very respected in the clubhouse. And, we just want to recognize his career and tell him thank you for his contributions.
John, I always appreciate the time. I know that the Cardinal fans appreciate the time each and every week here on Sports on a Sunday morning. Let's go out and get a victory here and finish this skid off.
That would be fun. I would certainly welcome that, and my fingers are crossed.
That's the Cardinals president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak, with us here on KMOX Sports on a Sunday morning. It continues here from Busch Stadium. I'm Joe Pott. We're coming back on KMOX.
This is Flea for This Little Light, a podcast about falling in love with music. I started a nonprofit music school about 20 years ago called the Silver Lake Conservatory of Music. The reason that I started doing this podcast was music education. I'll be speaking with Rick Rubin, Thundercat, Stuart Copeland, Margot Price, Corey Henry, Cynthia Erivo, Sheila E., and Patty Smith.
Please listen and follow This Little Light, a presentation of Cadence 13 on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Broadcasting from the Underlaw Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Celebrate 10 extraordinary St. Louis area women for their outstanding volunteer service and leadership at the 2023 Women of Achievement Luncheon at the Ritz-Carlton St. Louis. From volunteer leaders in human welfare and arts and education to multicultural advocacy and humanitarian concerns. Come celebrate the 2023 Women of Achievement on Tuesday, May 9th at the Ritz-Carlton St. Louis. Doors open at 11:15 a.m. Reservations at WOASTL.org. Presenting sponsors are KMOX Radio, St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and Ladue News. For more information, visit WOASTL.org.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. May is National Bike Month, so use your bike instead of your car or for a little bit of exercise. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Everyone deserves to get home safely, even in the most dangerous of jobs. But sometimes companies cut corners, leaving their employees at risk. For Underlaw, it's not just about getting you the money you deserve. It's about improving workplace safety. That's how we can prevent injuries and save lives. I'm Jim Onder. At Underlaw, we're not only on your side, we're by your side.
Call Onderlaw Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 6189 million. That's 9 all zeros.
You know the Midwest Money slogan, isn't cash in the bank better than scrap in the drawer? This is Johnny Rabbit. Midwest Money, the oldest coin shop in St. Louis. Buying, selling, and trading since 1971. Silver and gold, coins, sterling silver, flags, medals, daggers, and more. Not sure what you have? Bring your collectibles to someone you can trust. Midwest Money
at the corner of Hampton and Holly Hills. You'll be happy you did.
Updating your home with James Hardie siding has never been more popular. With all the options available, you need a partner to ensure you maximize your investment. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. They also carry Anderson and Marvin windows and doors. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today. sidingexpress.com.
I'm Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life. Over the past decade, Coalition Life has served thousands of women in crisis pregnancies, helping to save the lives of the children that they carry. Help us build a better community while also reducing or completely eliminating your Missouri taxes with a 70% tax credit. A $1,000 donation today to help these women could cost you as little as $141 out of pocket. Learn more at coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com. Thank you.
McKelvey Homes was founded in 1898. This year, we are celebrating our 125th anniversary by giving $12,500 of free options on all homes sold through the end of June. And we will also make a donation of $1,898 to the Independence Center for every home sold. Visit McKelveyHomes.com for our current locations and to learn more information about McKelvey Homes. That's McKelveyHomes.com.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to KMOX. You know, Chris Blair, the general manager of Worldwide Technology Raceway, told me, hey, can you do a live hit from the stadium and see if you can grab a guest? I said, well, I'll do my best. How about the defending champion of the Enjoy Illinois 300? That would be Joey Logano. It's great to have you in St. Louis. We're 1 month out from this race. How about that?
Yeah, we're almost back, and I'm excited to be back in town, at least for today, and get to check out the track here earlier. Everything's looking good, and some good renovations going on inside the garage areas to help the fan experience some, and ready to go back and try to win it again.
Went so well. You were very impressed with the operation of the race.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was a huge win for the sport and obviously for St. Louis and the racetrack out here, mainly because it was such a great event, right? Like the race was great. And obviously we won, and that was fun and probably extra special for me. But I thought for all the fans, it was a great experience because it wasn't just a race. It was a total event. They had concerts before the race, they had concerts after the race. They had stuff going on for people to do is stay entertained all day long, right? So if you get there early, to beat traffic, there was stuff to do, right? You didn't have to just sit there and wait. And so I think the whole facility did a fantastic job at taking the opportunity of having a NASCAR Cup Series race in St. Louis and knocking it out of the ballpark.
It was the first time that we had NASCAR Cup drivers on that track. And I remember Saturday was a big day for everybody because we wanted to see how do the drivers think, how do they react. It was a good reaction, wasn't it, the day before?
Oh, yeah, they did a great job at the track. I mean, I remember coming here years and years ago for an Xfinity race, and that was the first time back in 10-plus years for me. And so just getting some laps back on the racetrack, obviously pavement was different from then, so had some things that were new. And, I think on Saturday we all enjoyed it, but the true test is the race, right? And so Sunday, I think the race showed up to be a good race. Turns 1 and 2 got really wide, which is as a driver, you kind of want that. Gives you options so you can move around the racetrack, try to pass cars. A lot of strategy options as there's quite a few cautions throughout the race. And then a green-white checker overtime finish, right? Like, what else could you ask for the pass coming to the white flag? Pretty cool.
You and Kyle Busch, and you joined Kyle Busch last year as multiple NASCAR Cup champions. What an experience. What a year.
Yeah, it definitely was a great year. A lot of ups and downs throughout it, as you'd expect with a new car that was introduced last year. There's a lot of learning curve that went along with it. But we peaked at the right time, and part of that was winning here in St. Louis. We were actually kind of coming out of a slump. We went through a couple of wrecks right before that, and then we were able to kind of get our head back above water after leaving here in St. Louis. Was great.
You've won 32 races. You're 32 years old. Does one stand out? Is it Daytona in 2015?
I think there's some that are obviously special and they stand out. Yes, Daytona's big. I would say the championship races are even bigger, or the races that get you to that are big. But I do also think, too, winning an inaugural event is something that's really special, right? And you think of what happened here at Worldwide Technology Raceway last year as the inaugural winner. Like, this only happens the first time, one time, right? And so to get that was a special one for sure.
Daytona was a close shave, this one. I mean, this last one, oh my gosh. I said, I think I watched it. I know. But I watched it. I said, I think he just won it. It was just, it's just the way it turns out. I mean, now that you're removed from that a little bit, what are your feelings like looking back at it? Obviously, at the time, it's tough.
You're always going to be frustrated being that close to winning the Great American Race and not winning it, right? Like right there, just the caution coming out a little sooner changes the answer of who won the race. But, we were in position. We were doing everything correctly. It is what it is. You got to be in those positions multiple times to win. And so as long as we're sitting there, right, and obviously we want to win that one. You got to wait a whole another year to have an opportunity to win the Daytona 500, but we were really close.
Let's talk to fans who aren't as familiar with NASCAR. How would you sell the experience to a sports fan? This, Joey, is one of the best sports towns in the country. We saw it last year. They sold it out. There are a lot of people that want to go that couldn't go last year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much selling needed when you think about what NASCAR racing is and the event and the experience that you have, right? And I always say, if you've never watched a race on TV, that's okay. Just go, right? Just go to the racetrack, and then you have this whole experience. There's nothing like having 40 cars come blowing by you at 170 miles an hour. It's just nothing like it. You can't experience that anywhere else, bumper to bumper, and all that. I mean, there's nothing even comparable. And so you have to go to really do that. And so many times I've heard someone say, I've never watched NASCAR race, but I went once and now I am hooked. It's such a sport that it's easy to grab onto when you're there, just because all the sights and sounds and feelings that you get.
It is going to be amazing. Speaking of sounds, they'll have music. Dierks Bentley is going to close out the night on June 4th. The race is Sunday, June 4th, but it's a whole weekend of activity, June 2nd through the 4th. There's so much to take in. Qualifying Saturday, the race Sunday. It's the Enjoy Illinois 300, Worldwide Technology Raceway. Man, I mean, let's go.
Let's do it. I'll see you there.
Madison, Illinois will be the site, 5 minutes from the Arch. Joey Logano is the defending champion. Thank you so much for joining us for a few moments.
All right. Thank you very much. See you in a month.
That was Tom Ackerman with the defending champion of the Enjoy Illinois 300, Joey Logano. I'm Joe Pott, in for Tom Ackerman as we finish up this edition of the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning, our Stiefel Sports Studio today at Busch Stadium as we get you ready for the Cards and the Tigers as well. Final game of the series there. Also, we want you to celebrate 10 extraordinary St. Louis area women for their outstanding volunteer service and leadership at the 2023 Women of Achievement Luncheon at the Ritz-Carlton, St. Louis, Tuesday, May 9th. Doors open at 11:15. Learn more about this year's honorees and make your luncheon reservations at woastl.org. That is Tuesday at 11:15 a.m. Really appreciate you taking some time here on this Sunday morning here. Hope you enjoyed hearing from Polo Ascensio, from SLU softball coach Christy Connoyer. Of course, again, they're going for their 20th Atlantic 10 win later this afternoon as they finish their series. In fact, they're probably already underway up at Rhode Island for their final regular season game. They'll have the number 1 seed going into the Atlantic 10 tournament. Good to hear from Lutz Fan and Steel as we get an update on St. Louis City SC. They've got a busy one coming up. They'll go to Chicago coming up here on Tuesday. That is a U.S. Open Cup game. They'll play Chicago again on Saturday. That is an MLS game, a league game. So you're going to see two probably very different teams from both sides as they face each other in back-to-back games. It's a really interesting situation, the way it plays out, and there's no way to predict this or to schedule this any differently because it's an open draw. That's what happens after each round of the U.S. Open Cup. So that's why they're playing Chicago on Tuesday and Chicago on Saturday on the 13th. Of course, we heard from the Cards manager, Oliver Marmol. Biggest thing takeaway from there is that the bullpen might be very thin this afternoon. So we'll see what Steven Matz has to offer as he looks to go deeper into games than really he has for much of this year. Heard from the Cardinals general manager, Cardinals president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak, and he said Steven he talked about Steven Matz, but he talked about Wilson Contreras, and at least for the short term, is not going to be catching very much for the Cardinals. He's going to be focusing on that DH role. He's going to be possibly in play as a corner outfielder. And the reasoning there is that they want him to basically get on the same page as far as the philosophy goes, the organization goes, and the way that they want Wilson Contreras to handle that pitching staff. So those are the things that they want him to work on. We heard from Polo Ascensio. It was great to hear from Polo, the Spanish language broadcaster for the Cardinals. And they have now extended that Spanish language broadcast network. So as opposed to just a single Spanish language station, it is in fact on several stations throughout Illinois, Northwest Indiana as well. That was really cool. And if you missed it, he told a really good story about the first time he met Mike Shannon. And if you did miss it, you can check out all of these conversations on the Cardinals Conversations page on KMOX.com. So you can check in and you can listen to anything that you might have missed here today, anything that you have missed during the week, whether it's on Sports Open Line, whether it's on the Strike Zone, sometimes even some of our pregame conversations as we get ready for Cardinals baseball as well. They'll find their way into that Cardinals Conversation section at KMOX.com. Speaking of Cardinals, 12:20 is our pregame show, Ameren Total Access. Of course, we're going to hear from Oliver Marmol again during the pregame show as he has his regular chat with Mike Claiborne. And then we'll have the Cards and the Tigers coming up for you with a first pitch at 1:15 here this afternoon. Steven Matz, looking for his first win of the season, makes his 7th start. He'll go up against Alex Fado, the right-hander for the Tigers. He's actually making his first start of the year. And he did not make a lot of appearances in his first season last year. He only appeared 12 times. He made 12 starts last year, and he was 1-5 with an ERA up over 5.5. So that's what the Cards will see here today. And that's where they'll try to end this 8-game losing streak here against the Tigers this afternoon. So we'll step aside here. We'll have you back here for the pregame show beginning at 12:20. Actually, might have just a little bit of Cardinals news for you there just after the 12 p.m. news. My thanks to Drew Young. He's in the St. Louis studio in our KMOX studios today, helping me out all morning long. Certainly appreciate it. Scott Jagow had the news. I'm Joe Pott. Busch Stadium is where we're at and where we'll be for the pregame show. Ameren Total Access comes your way in just a few minutes. It'll come your way just after the 12 o'clock news. Tom Ackerman will be back next Sunday. And, of course, you can find Tom on the TV broadcast all week long. I'm Joe Pott. Keep it here on KMOX.
Hey, guys. Glover here from my friends at ThrottleNet. So I'm so very proud to have represented the guys at ThrottleNet for all of these years. They are the IT geniuses. George and Mike are the owners. Fantastic guys. They can do all of your IT. They can do a portion of your IT. They have the best Apple support team. Their response time is under 2 minutes. Think about that, under 2 minutes. Something goes sideways with your IT, and they are solving your problem. And they're solving your problem within 2 minutes. Now, let's talk about cybersecurity. Most companies in St. Louis don't have cyber liability insurance. You get hit, you're on the hook, you're probably out of business. With ThrottleNet, if we represent you, we protect you. The first $500,000 that someone hits you for, which isn't going to happen, but if it does, we pay it. $500,000. That's what you're covered for with ThrottleNet. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS for all the information.
It's Amy Markscores and Chris Ranji. We don't always agree, but we're friends.
Hey, I respect you.
I respect you too.
Aw. Every day we have conversations about national headlines, local news, current events, Cardinals baseball, and sometimes we have a little fun.
Some would say too much fun.
I think it's an appropriate amount of fun. Who doesn't like fun?
If you're talking about it, we're talking about it. From politics to new restaurants to things that make you say, what the? There's no topic that's off limits.
It's Chris and Amy, weekdays 10 to 1 on KMOX.
Years, Caritas Family Solutions has proudly dedicated itself to enriching thousands of lives through tireless service to others, caring for children, empowering adults, strengthening families, nurturing new life. 75 years of creating healthy relationships, loving homes, and strong communities. Because this is more than our life's work. It's a calling bound by a legacy of love. Go to CaritasFamilySolutions.org to learn more.
Hi, I'm Amy Mark Scores, and I've been wearing contacts since I was 12 years old. So eye care is a big deal. That's why I see the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Birdie, Malhotra, Brusati, and Royer. Give them a call at 314-966-5000. Dr. Birdie and Dr. Malhotra are cornea surgeons, and they're experts in the diagnosis and treatment of many diseases of the eye, like dry eye, allergy eyes, cataracts, glaucoma. And they're experts in LASIK surgery. Maybe you're experiencing dry eye. We stare at our screens. We don't blink as often. That can lead to your eyes feeling scratchy and achy at night. It could be something as simple